430.
230.
That would.
All right, look at that. What is up, people? We're
Yeah.
in a very fun moment in our lives. One of those things that we might look back to saying, shit, I should have listened to Max. What is up? We've got over, I think, 1,400 people signed up for this event. So I
Almost,
think
yeah.
the hype is quite clear. People really, really want to understand how they can actually use Claude or OpenClaw to actually make something happen out of this. And we thought it would be fabulous to get you on board. In fact, Max was the one who even reached out, showing some really cool things that he wants to talk about. And we've got a strong history with Max. Max has been on this webinar beforehand in a very different setting. And Max has always been a hyper technical person. He's a certified partner. Some of you would have actually been taking consulting calls with him. So rest assured, you're in safe hands over here. This will be emailed to all of you. You will get a video for this. It will be uploaded on YouTube as well. You don't need to worry. Any assets that have to come with it, of course, that is per discretion to Max to see if he's willing to share that with us. The video will be recorded. You do not need to go ahead and record it yourself. You get the high quality recording, fully edited, with no parts missed for you. With that being said, hello, beautiful people. Good to finally meet every single one of you over here. Hope you're doing fabulous. Now, with that being said, we'll be booting out a lot of your note takers, just letting you know right now. I think we've seen a few note takers over here. Those note takers are going to tell goodbye. Alina, I hope you're not the person driving and you have someone else driving for you over there because it seems like you're in the car at the moment. And I hope that's good coffee. But welcome, 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 everyone. We do some incredible sessions over here with some fabulous people. We've got Max, who runs an incredible company. He's going to talk all about what he's doing. I just wanted to go ahead and talk about how excited I am about everything OpenCloud is doing and what's going to be happening. I don't keep yapping on, but there's one thing that we do in tradition. Drop in the comments which part of the world you're from and what your favorite food is from that part of the world. Devesh, if we can actually get rid of all the meeting note takers, please, that'll be fabulous.
Yeah, I
Because
think 20% of the participant amount is literally just note takers.
no, it's I think it's just there's about four, five, like 10, 5, 10 of them. We need to just kick them out. All right, I got Madrid, butter chicken
Hey, Germany,
masala from
Berlin. Let's go. Me too.
nice. Austria, Frankfurt, Poland.
Ah,
You aren't telling me your favorite foods. Come on. Potato. Sorry, potatoes. That sounds about right. Okay. We love that. Okay, okay. Sweet. Well, that being said, thank you for sharing that. We're going to keep looking at those. And that's an easy way for us to know who's not a bot because bots don't like favorite foods. So we're going to kick them out from a second. Sambusa of Nairobi. I love that, James. Awesome. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone from all over the world, let's kick off. I'd love to introduce you to Max. Max, let's take off the floor. Let's start with what you want to talk about. This session is going to be
Let's.
predominantly run by Max, everyone. So I'm actually going to take myself off the spotlight, and Max is going to run the piece. And of course, jump in to answer any questions, as in if they have to, based upon you have. By the way, if you have any questions, keep them in the comment section. We'll try to get them answered. Max will also try to get them answered if he can. And after that,
I'm
we will
reading
take
that.
yes, and we'll keep this interruptive so it's not just 45 to 50 minutes of him just talking and showing you stuff. We will make it interactive with certain questions that you have coming up. So please keep dropping your questions and then post that. Of course, Matt will talk about how you can reach out to him if you actually want to work with him or whatever might be the case, or you just want to talk to him about the cool stuff that he's worked on. And we will also open the floor for 5 to 6 people or 4 to 5 people, time permissible, to actually talk about ask questions directly. Max, floor's yours. There's about 400 over here. Let's go for it.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. First and foremost, thank you guys for everyone who actually joins this nice webinar. I think we are in a time, we correctly said that, where everything feels very, very hyper growthy. It's going literally vertical, and obviously, I'm in a good position. I come from a technical background, so gladly I've figured out a lot of technical things even before AI. And I'm just trying to guide you guys through what OpenClaw is, this call, how to apply it properly, and kind of the mind models that I'm going about. Let's actually, I will share my little vibe coded uh, uh, presentation. You will see this presentation has some weird quirks, and that literally is because my OpenClaw did it. I didn't
Nice.
correct
Okay,
anything
that's cool.
apart from copy and guidance. So you see, there are some weird emojis. I didn't do that.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
don't take any sexual assault claims straight to your name. Nice, man. Smart move. Smart move.
let's go ahead. I'm Max. I am the founder of 1M2 AI. Recently, an OpenClaw setup service. Uh, Basically, instead of just setting up an OpenClaw, what we do is we actually do the use case consulting. Everyone can set up OpenClaw. I will show you later how. But it's more about actually integrating it because it's more of a human problem. And then 1D.de, which is in general on Germany focused, but also international, basically a forward deployed engineering agency. So we build automations, pretty much same business on both sides, but one is a bit more streamlined. I have been doing tech for over 10 years, and I've been doing cold email since 2020. Was one of the first ones in the German market to use personalization. Then entered the market also in the US, done millions of emails, done a lot through Smartlead. Very, very, very grateful to have Smartlead as a partner for that stuff. And to be fair, I think what's also very interesting to know here is I've been experimenting with AI pretty much since before ChatGPT because I was doing these personalizations and I always wanted to do less of the manual work. And gladly, now AI is good enough to do a lot of the AI work, as probably a lot of you guys are using tools like Smartlead and tools like Clay with integrated AI things too. So let's jump right into the first thing. So cold email in 2026 is extremely different, right? You need to know the basically the average reply rate dropped so much that some people are now happy with sub 1% reply rates, right? Or vaguely hitting 1% reply rates. This is something that wasn't the reality in 2022. It was 22. No, sorry, 2020. It was really all extremely unsaturated. Now everything is saturated, and you need to do more volume, more personalization, be better at what you do, iterate your offer more, iterate your copy and angle more, and have a whole funnel in the reply channel. So it is a lot more work. And that work is obviously either done through hiring more or and optimizing your processes. That's where OpenClaw can do a very good job. So let me explain for everyone who might not know as well what OpenClaw is. OpenClaw is basically a simple AI agent that you can talk to via chat. To make it very simple, it is obviously something that can connect to a lot of platforms. So it is compared to ChatGPT and anything else you've seen, Claude and everything. It is basically your personal But I just saw your comment. I feel like I might regret getting Max on call and with all you just rebuilding your own Smartlead. I actually have something about that later.
That's the
And
part I kill the. That's the part where I kill the conversation. But yeah, carry on.
actually, that part is not going to be in the recording. No, no. Actually, OpenClaw. What OpenClaw does in the end, it helps you guys build your own chief of staff almost, right? There are multiple levels to this. First level is kind of this thing that can tell you reportings, right? Hey, how are my Smartly campaigns doing? Hey, what emails am I missing? What am I getting? What Slack messages did I get? Second level is kind of more of a personal assistant, right? Hey, can you please make sure that we prepare drafts and make sure that I'm getting a meeting prep every time before the call, right? Especially if you do a lot of sales calls or a lot of general meetings, it is very useful, right? And then we have the chief of staff level. And that level is basically the one where you say, well, here's full access to my Smartlead. Can you please create the campaigns? Make sure that they are properly set up. make sure that the infrastructure is set up, make sure that you communicate with my infrastructure provider. Those things do work already. I have to say that and emphasize that. And I can tell you a bunch of big lead gen agencies and also normal big companies that do a lot of lead gen have been automating that for the last months and are just hyper accelerating on that. So, but now it's actually accessible for normal people, right? We have OpenClaw. It's context aware, proactive, and connected with everything, right? You can connect it pretty much with everything that you can access because it has access to browsers if you want, Gmail, calendar, Slack, WhatsApp, your CRM, right? If you, for example, I think, to be fair, the biggest use case for me so far was literally after a call that my note taker isn't just creating a note somewhere or a summary, but actually ingests via OpenClaw, ingest the data into my actual CRM, which is something that is so underrated, but very high impact. So let's actually go to the next thing here. Yeah, important to note directly at the beginning, as OpenClaw is such a versatile tool that can do almost everything means not you should do everything with it, right? Let's think data enrichment, right? Let's say you have, I don't know, 100,000 company names and you need to find the people that work there and you need to find their emails. This is not something that you should do with your OpenClaw because in the end, your OpenClaw will be quite overwhelmed with the amount of data. It's as if you would put it into ChatGPT. A lot of you guys probably already did, just upload the CSV and try to somehow process the data, and you will realize it's not working as well. So that's one thing. Second thing is reply agents. So a big topic, something that Smartlead gladly also has integrated nowadays. But actually is something that when I'm talking about Gmail, when I'm talking about calendar integration, I'm mainly not talking about the specialized workflow of booking leads in, for example, cold email campaigns. That is something that is quite a bit more specialized, right? Copy is different in cold email. And you need to be very, very aware that leads will notice too if you actually are not constantly refining your copy, but and special like creating an AI agent that is only for replies, but just have your general agent on it. It will just sound a bit weird, and it's also not built for that. Just having to say that. I just got a question in the chat here. Will this be available as a video if I have to leave early? Yes, it will be. Oh, we already answered. Okay.
Don't
I'll
worry
take
about
some
it.
time.
You carry on. We'll definitely I'll pop in and ask you the question. So you don't worry about the chat. We've got that covered. Sweet.
Amazing. So yeah, there are specialized workflows that are deterministic, and it would just be a waste to put normal, like an actual generic agent on it. And then you have actual agentic use cases, right? And that is for things that are more in the non-cold email high scale zone, but in the one-off chief of staff zone, right? Let's say, for example, that you have your own inbox, right? Or you are managing an inbox for someone else, or it's just a few accounts. You will quickly realize sending follow-ups and making sure everything is lined up. That is actually something that is not a use case like where you would use Smartlead, for example, right? But Smartlead solves these deterministic issues, right? Just want to say that up front so you guys don't try to replicate Smartlead. And let's go to the next one. So just as a mini overview, obviously this is something that is really good documented in Smartlead itself, in the documentation. Obviously, Smartlead has an MCP server. What does MCP mean? It just basically means it can connect to Smartlead programmatically so that you do not need to worry about anything in terms of APIs and trying to build your own thing, building scripts and everything. Do keep in mind this presentation is still vibe coded, right? So there some things might not be completely true here. But in general, what I like to do, if you have OpenClaw in there, you either want to have either want to edit using the OpenClaw configuration that is just a dashboard, or you want to generate a terminal tool that the OpenClaw can use. Those things, to be honest, you can probably just give your agent this presentation and it will know better what to do than explaining this too deep, to be fair. So exactly. I think, no, this one is something I didn't want. Yes, this is something that is quite a huge use case. So a big use case or a big thing in cold email is that you obviously want to be aware of what is happening, right? It's funny because as it's a vibe coded presentation, it says open rates. Do not track open rates, by the way, just as a side note. This is a bit outdated. So the thing is, you can, for example, go ahead and literally just set up a very recurring job that just fetches all the reply data, all the analytics from the Smartlead API, and just checks, are the campaigns going well? What variants perform well? What is underperforming, right? For the people that are in here that have clients as like in lead gen agency clients, that is something that also helps, right? Trying to collect per client stats, making sure which clients are not working as well. For the companies in here that are doing normal lead gen for themselves, it also works really well if you are trying a lot of ICPs, right? If you are trying to hit a lot of different target groups and just trying to figure out, okay, who's actually replying, fetching replies, right? And analyzing what is happening there and the actual replies. And then what are my reply rates? And actually the job of comparing those data sets is not as easy, or it was not as easy. Nowadays, it's way easier with an OpenClaw that is literally just an agent that is able to do this work for you, right? One second, for some reason, this is enrichment, automated follow-ups. Yep. Important to note, and that's something that I've been saying the last webinars and telling everyone that I meet, please write copy yourself. Do not, and I really have to emphasize this, do not trust AI to write your copy. AI can generate a lot of ideas. It can generate a lot of variants, but especially around offer creation in cold email, please try to avoid sending anything that is AI generated. For you, it might not sound AI generated, but a person that uses AI a lot will 100% figure it out. And it's not only the M dash, by the way. It's not only a certain type of symbol that AI uses, or it's not this or that type of language. It's small things that are just off, how humans don't write in an email, usually internally. So please, even if English isn't your first language, or if you don't like English as much, or if you're sending in the native language, please make sure that you are writing it by yourself and then only use it very, very, very selectively, because people will call it out, and it's always better to have humanly written things. Exactly, like that. This is very, very important to note. By the way, for any agency in here, like cold email agencies, I suggest that you are going to actually workshop copy with your clients. For anyone who isn't doing it, it really helps because clients usually are not used to typical cold email copy. And write very creative stuff sometimes. A lot of times not cold email optimized, obviously, but it can really help to have a good starting point where you can actually refine and are not trying to replicate the same style that you would usually write in cold email or what AI outputs, right? Yeah, for example, like this, I hope this finds you well thing, right? This is something that everyone knows, I think. Yeah. So I think the highest value part of OpenClaw is automated messages to you. Every morning, I'm getting a message from my OpenClaw. It is basically working for, I don't know, 8 to 15 minutes sometimes. It is going through all my emails. It's going through all my Slack messages. It's going through everything it sees everywhere that is relevant to me and my business. And then it's consolidating that data into a nice morning report. It comes in at like 7:30, and then when I'm ready to go to the office, I'm one, obviously reading it, and two, I'm replying to it with a voice note a lot of times. Gladly, I'm around 10 minutes away by walk from my office. So I'm literally just walking to the office, doing a 10-minute voice note to my agent, and basically giving it a lot of input. And that input is extremely relevant, right? So it's I'm going into all topics that it prepared the data on for me, and at the end of it, it will basically give me a second report with all the things that are going to be today, everything that I need to prepare, all the follow-ups that I might have to send, any campaigns that I need to work out, any clients that are relevant to talk to. So it is a chief of staff. It is basically almost as if it's managing me, or I would even say it is actually managing me, or it's mutual. The thing is, this is a missing piece for a lot of people. This almost peer that obviously it is not a human, right? Like it's just some tokens flying around. But the cool thing is there is a very highly productive thing still happening, even though it's just language that is being spit out. So the cron jobs, which basically just means scheduled messages, is the core of that. And for anything you do with Smartlead, it is essential to do a lot of these things anyhow, right? You might do it yourself, maybe once a day, maybe twice a day, or maybe just once a week or once a month. But info health checks, right? Making sure domains are not burned, making sure the bounce rates are not too high. Obviously, Smartlead has a bounce rate detection, right? And it also notifies you. But the thing is, that is not actionable a lot of times, right? You still need to look at it as a human. Well, an agent can actually do these things for you. And to be fair, that is a huge game changer for a lot of people, right? So lead processing, for small volumes, for anyone who's an agency, this is probably not relevant for you. You should probably use some actual workflow tooling and automation. But for anyone who is not processing a lot of replies, you can obviously also just use your OpenClaw agent or a separate OpenClaw agent to actually manage your replies, right? It could be if you only get like, I don't know, 5 to 20 replies per day, that is usually completely fine. And handling replies fast, it can do that, right? Just be aware that you give it its own context and it doesn't access your personal email for that, because not necessary to do that. Okay. Second. Yeah. I think I just talked about that. Email infrastructure. Email infrastructure management. This is one thing that is highly dependent on what you do, obviously. Some people should not worry about infrastructure too much in this case and just keep it high level. Some others need to process each account and run extra checks on it, right? I just saw a very good question in the chat. How good is identifying signals? Signal identification, or for example, scraping a website or checking LinkedIn accounts and everything, is something that I would put in the bucket of this shouldn't be part of OpenClaw, or this shouldn't be an agent like that. A lot of times, what you should rather do is have a dedicated tool that does these things programmatically and does very efficient signal reading, right? There are a lot of great tools for that, right? Like there's so many data tools now, from Clay to Trigify to so many, right? It really is something that you should leave out of it, or obviously you can build something yourself. And I will talk about that right now. The cool thing is the agent can also write code, right? So in case you, for example, want to build something or you want to try something, it can build its own code and use it, and also reuse it later, right? So it could be, for example, right now there are already great Slack integrations with OpenClaw, but there was a time when there wasn't any good ones. So I literally asked my OpenClaw, I says, hey, can you create a Slack integration? I don't want to miss anything, right? Like I still write my Slack messages completely myself because I really try to emphasize on my voice, right? I want to bring a point across. I don't want to automate that whole way. But what is the case is that I am 100%. My point was it was very easy to automate that by just asking my agent to build its own tool for that, right? So signals should likely not be part of it. I actually talked with someone yesterday exactly about that. He wanted to monitor a bunch of websites if they change and wanted to combine that. This is something that you could build, but this is not something that is relevant to OpenClaw. Think of it as if you would have a personal assistant, right? You wouldn't give them the task to browse a lot of websites manually, one by one, but you would tell the assistant to build it in Clay or in these other tools nowadays, because it would just be a waste of time. Okay, it's a lot of questions came in. Let me actually
I'll maybe parse in the main piece. I think a lot of people, I understand their impatience. People want to see the implementation part.
Yeah.
So just for everyone asking, there's a slide deck. It'll come through. I know you're keen to get to the build phase. It will happen. It's important to cover the use cases so we don't go through that. If you want to see the building of it happen, it's actually extremely easy and you can check it up on YouTube, like it's mentioned. The goal over here is to showcase to you how you can come up with different scenarios to come to. But definitely a demo is planned. You will get the demo if you are looking for that to happen. Trust assured, get your TikTok brain out of your head, get your YouTube brain on. You will see it. It will come to you. Hold a little bit of patience. You're all millennials here, from what I can see. It's okay if the movie goes on for more than 30 minutes. Let's draw a little bit of patience. That's all we're all asking for over here. It's not that bad. You've come to a webinar that is for 1 hour with intention that someone's worked hard to walk you through what you can actually do over here. I am not going to force him to go out and go through a TikTok flow and give you exactly what you want. It's a path. He's not even selling you anything at the end of this. So the least we can all do is just respect the fact that the person's here spending time walking all of you through this for free. Sweet. Thank you, everyone. All right, Max, go for it, man.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I think the inbox management part, I already was going over that. We already covered that. Data processing. Oh man, like I completely freestyled that, but actually my agent did a really good job at structuring the webinar. I see, with good slides. Well, it's good for you guys to see that later and actually give it a go. So I think for most of you, the biggest case will be around cross-platform integration. So CRM, Gmail, Slack, Teams, Outlook accounts that you manage, or if you are running your organization on it, calendars, WhatsApp, and obviously Smartlead, right? So a lot of tools that you are using are integrated. And even if it might not be by default there, you can even ask your agent to integrate it for you. The cool thing is you can interface with your agent through a lot of these channels too. So especially Slack or WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord. Most people obviously choose something like Slack or Telegram because Telegram is very easy to set up. Usually you don't talk to too many people via Telegram, and it's very easy to chat with it. It's just a good interface for that. Or if people are a bit more gaming inclined, they might use something like Discord. So let me go through here. Yeah, exactly. Let's get to the part in short on how to do it, right?
Okay,
And
webinar is over, everyone. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye. I'm kidding. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
I have to say, and that is a very, very important point, please advise an actual good agent here or a person that you trust, someone technical, on the security parts. OpenClaw is great. I saw in the chat it says Clawbot left.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Greetings to all the open claws in the
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah.
So the cool thing is it's very easy to set up. You can go on Hetzner, get yourself a server, install OpenClaw on it. It has a bunch of security protocols that it also does there, and connect Smartlead and start talking. It's actually not as hard. The setup process is also not as hard. The hard part starts at figuring out your actual workflows, right? Figuring out what you want to do, figuring out how to really integrate into your life so that it actually gives you more time, right? So when you are running this OpenClaw, please use the documentation that OpenClaw has on their website. You can do it yourself, but please literally humanly use the documentation, because otherwise you might be missing things, and you might actually accidentally expose data that you have, which you don't want, right? You want to make sure that your data is as safe as possible here, and not public. I just want to emphasize that. So I think security, data privacy. Obviously, I had that on a different slide. There are also a lot of different setup SaaS where you can host it somewhere with someone. Um, I do not recommend that. Technically, they are basically just putting a nice thick margin on your stuff. Plus, the very nice thing is you can actually use your ChatGPT subscription or your Claude subscription with OpenClaw. It's not as it's a bit more critical with Claude and Anthropic. They don't like it as much, but there is a nice plugin for it, so you can do it. It's not recommended by Anthropic, obviously. They don't want that, but it's definitely doable. I also have to see, because I just saw the keyword Mac Mini. You do not need the Mac Mini to run this, right? You do not need any hardware. Actually, you could run this whole system on some spare laptop you have in your home. Um, but you would need to maintain that laptop that way. So I do not recommend
So
it.
my main question, if I can just jump in over here, the whole perspective over here was just network isolation, right? That's kind of the whole perspective, which is a separate Mac Mini that's more so for, I guess, a Mac OS terminal, Ubuntu, etc., blah blah. But to your point, if I run this on a Hetzner server, I can achieve the same thing. But the difference over here is, and I'll obviously let you continue. Sorry to just, pause you over
Yeah.
here. But
Oh,
the
no, of
difference
course.
over here would be the fact that with a Hetzner server, though, I would have to install a bunch of the applications. So I guess you're going to show us that we don't need to do that. I'm assuming so.
So the cool thing is, if you are setting up a Hetzner server right, and you are following the instructions that OpenClaw gives you online,
Yep.
it is obviously running your credentials there, right? Like, let's say you're
Okay. Yeah.
connecting
Got
your
it. Got
emails.
it. Got it. Got it.
It is
Understood.
doing it there. But to be fair, if you are setting it up right and you're following the documentation properly, you shouldn't have any big struggle regarding that. And security-wise, I recommend to install something like Tailscale, which is a secure access application that allows you to basically connect very securely to your device. And in general, it should not be a problem. It starts to be a problem as soon as you are very much going broad, and it's not really. Sorry, not if you are, let's say, trying to freestyle the setup through, I don't know, something like Claude. Sometimes they don't. That's why I said please read the documentation, because the documentation is actually also for humans. Um, yeah, you need to be aware of the security stuff. So I just saw a very interesting thing. Any concerns with terms of service violations and getting banned by Anthropic? I was actually I co-organized the Cloud Code developer meetup here in Berlin yesterday. We had over 1,000 people that wanted to come. 200 we were only able to actually accommodate. And interestingly enough, we had quite some chats, obviously, with the local community about exactly that topic. And well, technically, you shouldn't use a subscription with OpenClaw. Technically, you should use a subscription only in Cloud Codes or in their web client. But on the other side, one could install the plugin to use it. And in general, it will be quite stealthy. Problems arise as soon as you are using or misusing your OAuth subscription or your actual Claude Code subscription to, for example, enrich leads, right? At scale, you are processing a lot of one-off data. That's something the providers, both OpenAI and Anthropic actually, do not want you to do. Obviously, this is for chatting, this is for agents, this is for long-running processes. And there is a concept called caching here, which is the reason why they don't like it as much, while the other case is cool. And that is long chats, right? You are basically always submitting the full chat history to the agent, and the AI is fully processed. And you would think every time it's using the same amount of energy to basically process that and same amount of compute. That is not the case because it basically is able to only process the part that is attached to it plus a bit of extra, and already knows the route for the stuff before, which means it's way cheaper a lot of times for your normal agent to actually have a lot of context ingested every time. While if you are, so if it's the same chat all the time, while, for example, running something like I don't know, clay enrichments through the same process, or the trying to enrich a lot of data, is a lot of requests that are very, very different, and it costs Anthropic a lot more. So they don't like it that much. So I would definitely suggest to not do it if you don't know what you're doing. But I think there is a good point to be made to actually use these things. I also saw another great question, and that is why not Claude Code? Coding harnesses are great. Most of my day still is spent in coding harnesses, so I'm not only doing my work through OpenClaw. It's a very, 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 very generic agent, right? So not everything should be done in OpenClaw, but OpenClaw is also Claude Code is also not portable, right? You can't chat with your Claude Code if it's detached, right? It's not easily accessible via Telegram. Obviously, actually, Claude Code did release a remote access thing, so that you can access your local Claude Code session. But you are missing a lot of integrations. You are missing the memory parts. You are missing a lot of things like cron jobs and everything that you can rebuild, but you can also just use OpenClaw. So let me move through the slides here. Oh yeah, we're already at the end. So before we actually we can do that. So that we have 20 minutes for questions. This is a vibe coded slide, so it might sound a bit more markety than it should be. So obviously, anyone who isn't feeling comfortable with the technical setup here, or where security is a big thing, you can and you should just put a message into the Slack channel. We'll put a mini message in Smartlead Slack channel, where you guys can comment under, and we'll choose 5 people at random that we are going to help set up. Actually, like a mini use case consulting, helping you through it basically, and actually getting you started on a headset machine with async support. We already did this a bit with a bunch of different lead gen agencies, but in general, yeah, please, for everyone that said I will take it, please please join the Smartlead Slack and put a message into I think, is there already like a highlighted message, Vaibhav? I'm not sure.
I think Devish is going to drop a highlighted message over there. But perhaps what we can do over here is, I think to the point of the setup and going through the demo of this, Max sort of covered through the part. Oh, well, I'll just add myself to the spotlight over here quick enough. Am I there? You might want to stop sharing your screen for a second.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see it
So
this
I
way.
think what we can do over here is, because there's tons of questions over here, because if we go through a generic setup process, it's going to be nothing different from what you'd get on a YouTube video. It's the instructions covered quite clearly. So the chat's actually got a lot of questions that have come through over here. It'll be good to see what would be something that would be important for people to understand. So we can get a bunch of hands up over here to go through that as well. But
Oh, one question I actually saw one question that I do want to in the
Yeah,
call
sure,
really cover, and that is, could I or should I install it on my Mac or locally, like on your
sure.
normal MacBook or something like that, or normal laptop? You can, but you need to be aware it can, one, access everything that you have on your MacBook or on your computer. So you need to be really aware that you know what you're doing. And two, every time you are closing your computer, for example, just, I don't know, going somewhere else, you can't reach that instance. And the highest use case and the best thing that you can do is actually do a voice note to your voice to your agent, right? So just be aware. I just wanted to get that out because I just saw that question. But let's give the stage to people that have questions on the call.
Sweet. So we can definitely do that. And while everyone's going to go through this, Sergey, you'll eventually get over it. Thanks for coming on board. Appreciate your time. But with that being said, I do think there's a bunch of questions that have come through over here that I want to have answered. And at the same time, people can raise their hands if they have questions to come through as well. So the setup process is quite straightforward. It's as simple as just installing it on your Hetzner or your Mac and so on and so forth, and actually get some output over here. What are some common questions that for us who are going to start doing this right after this call, jump on it, get a, SSH install, get it going, get a few API keys in. What are some prompts that we should be ready with beforehand to get that ball rolling? So make sure there's actually direction for us to go for.
In the setup on Hetzner in
Yeah,
general,
so
like,
just go with the Mac Mini, right? Let's just say anyone's got an isolated Mac Mini or on their Mac, they've got something new. I've connected my Gmail, I've connected my meeting notes setting that you said. Maybe just talk about Smartlead as well. What would be the next step for us to follow through right after that?
So you need to actually, I think the biggest part, and that is the most painful part, is actually getting all the data in and getting the agent almost trained on using your stuff,
So
right?
so how would I start with that?
So I usually try to go like one integration at a time, right? I try to teach
Okay.
it how to interpret my emails, right? Give it context around um, what is my email account about, right? Is that a work email account? What projects are in that email
Okay.
account? And teach it about the what I'm doing for work, right? That agent needs to have the context that you would give a human too, because otherwise it is just going to freestyle, and freestyling with AI is not really doing
Yeah, of
well, right? So
course. Fair
that's
enough.
the biggest challenge initially.
And
In
with
terms of,
lossless, with the sorry, just to jump in over here with the email example, right? Um, do you isolate the instructions per integration, or is it a generic integration prompt? That means it's understanding it across like five different integrations, or do you create integrations per, sorry, do you create prompts per integration?
So the good thing is, a lot of the integrations already bring a lot of instructions with them, right? So how to use is more so less relevant than why to use in my case, right? So like I said earlier, the best thing that you can do is sit in front of your computer and do a long voice note, just scrolling through all the things you want, just giving context around your life,
Yep,
asking them, hey, those are all my accounts. Or for example, on Slack channels, right? Hey, this is a Slack channel with that type of person. This is the person that does this. This is my colleague. This is whatever. Also in Smartlead, hey, giving context around campaigns. I know a lot
sure.
of you guys probably have pretty cryptic campaign names, right? So that also helps giving context. I think it's more so how you would use ChatGPT, right? But the good thing is it can actually store it permanently really well instead of ChatGPT and Claude that are a bit wary on the storing part.
Got it. Got it. I do want to address an open topic. I think everyone was expecting to see us install something and go through it. I just want to be clear with you. There is nothing to install. Like it's just a script that you run and then you just talk to it and get it set up.
Well,
That's the
yeah. I could have shown that, but I found it to be a bit very obvious. Like the
and
thing is,
that's kind of I get it, Dory. That's the point as well. I think a lot
yeah,
of us over here were expecting the magic to showcase over here. It's a very obvious thing. The work actually comes in the questions that come through in the setup. How do you contextualize it? How do you prompt it? How do you engineer it in the direction that you actually want it to go? But a lot of this is just verbal conversation. I don't know how to make it sound more. I think
it
we're
sounds
naturally
boring, but it's very
yeah,
exciting.
we're naturally used to a very complex process to achieve the outcome that he's referring to. But the weird part that's almost demoralizing to an extent for developers is that it's very easy to get into place, right?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
That like if you Max, I don't know if you have a prompt layer open to go ahead and share a demo, if that's possible right now, if you can actually securely connect that into your Mac
Um,
Mini. But if you can't, all
I
good.
could, but the thing is, it is literally just a chat, right? It's just like it's
You
literally
just
just
give the crowd what they want is what I would say. Like you just literally open, just literally. I know what you mean. It's a chat terminal, and you just speak to it and tell it, "Hey, for my Gmail, I want you to do this, this, is this." That's. I feel like people are just wanting something over there. You can just show that to them. That's literally all there is to it.
that is everything there is here. Like for example, let's this is my instance that I'm mainly
Yep.
using. I'm communicating
Yep.
with it through Slack and
Yep.
through Telegram.
Telegram.
I
Yep.
can just say, hey, uh, what are good questions? Actually, let's do a voice note.
Go for it.
What are good questions that the crowd could ask me in that webinar? And in a few seconds, it should automatically give me the reply and hopefully not have too hard questions. Good ones they might throw at you. How does OpenClaw handle rate limits? Actually, this is something that you guys did not ask. Uh, okay, that's a lot of questions, but you get the gist, right? Like I can also just ask it to, for example, check my emails, right? Obviously, I'm not going to show my emails here on the call, especially as it's going on YouTube.
Yeah,
It can
I
check.
think just to answer it, I think a lot of people, same thing, everyone. I feel like maybe you were sold a very different story and perhaps we should have marketed differently to you. It is literally just a line to install. The value layer comes here in not the how, it's in the what. What exactly are people automating? Because that's the thing that matters, and that's kind of where I'm trying to pick up my brains with Max over here. Is it's important to understand you're automating the right things versus the wrong things. If you ask you to do stupid things like, "Hey, give me a grocery list that I need," that's not what the goal over here is.
That works too,
But
by the way. I have
I'm
that.
sure it does.
I've
I'm
been
sure.
running
I'm
grocery
sure it does. If
groceries.
you can go ahead and connect that to like a smart fridge and ask you to figure out what are the groceries missing, etc., you can. But I think the premise to this entire part over here is people are just the guidance structure I'd like for all of us to go through is understanding how you can actually get it set up. So the first part of the video, as ironically as it has to sound, is the main part of this, which is the way you want to run this with a lead generation business. You want to automate your reporting. You want to automate your ICP structuring. You automate your messaging if you can to the best. You want to automate your client reporting, and you want to automate any alarms that have come through with respect to replies or outbounds or messages that have to be dropped. That's about it.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, someone is sharing their screen.
Oh, that shouldn't be allowed. Um, Devesh, could you? Thank you. Cool. Karen for that. But yeah, I think Michael's Michael. Thank you for being a bit of a champion over here. That's literally all you have to do, and that's about it for the open call
And
part.
actually, I will set out as this is people are more interested in that. I will actually create a short Loom video for you guys so that you can use or maybe YouTube video. Maybe we can get something out to you guys on how to set it up with Smartlead and everything as like a mini like setup tutorial. I thought it's always better to have it in text, but if you guys want that, we can obviously make that happen. So more than
Yep.
happy to.
That should be perfectly okay to set in place. So for anyone who wanted the MCP server for Smartlead as well, you can actually go ahead and I've just shared a link over here. I'll drop the link over here as well for you. You can
I have
literally
it.
just ask OpenClaw, be like, "Hey, this is the Smartlead MCP server. Please connect to it." Go ahead and actually learn from this, and then I'm going to ask you questions on how to automate my campaigns and do this. This is what I need you to do. That's about it. There's nothing more to that part than anything else. Um, Now, before I think one part I want you to go ahead and cover through is you want to be very particular about the setup part in terms of how you actually want to get this into place. Watch the YouTube videos, reach out to consultants to help you. There's a bunch of companies that actually go ahead and do this. But I will take on two, three more pressing questions that have come through over here. Um, with the stack that you want to have in place, a general stack that you have going, what are some predictive costs that we need to be looking into?
Yeah. The cool thing is for a normal user that is literally just getting started, the normal $20 per month ChatGPT subscription is likely enough.
You mean
It
open
is
open cloud
easy.
subscription?
Hmm?
Sorry, cloud subscription. You said ChatGPT subscription.
No, no, I said ChatGPT because it is the ChatGPT subscription that you can use with it.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah,
Lovely. All right.
I usually recommend to start with ChatGPT because a lot of people are not on Claude yet, right? Which is crazy for me
Sure.
to say because I've been using it for a long time. But actually, I would recommend to go with the ChatGPT subscription and then integrate using your ChatGPT subscription because it is the one that over 900 million people per week are using. So likely you guys have a ChatGPT
So
account
is there
already.
any advantage that we get using ChatGPT over Claude?
Um, well, a lot of people already probably have it. For everyone who has a Claude account and already is subscribed to Claude and wants to use it, the Claude $20 per month subscription is
Oh,
also
got
very
it. So
great.
there's no bias layers. So it's one
No,
of
no,
those.
no,
Okay.
no.
Fair enough.
Actually, OpenAI's models are a bit rougher in the tone and less friendly,
Got it.
but
Understood.
they
Fair
are
enough.
very intelligent too. So it's neck and neck, I would say.
Got it. Got it. Makes sense. I'll take two more questions I wanted to go through is on the security layer, when we're connecting our Gmail account, is there a possibility for us to just give it read-only access versus write or update, or it has to be fully naked?
Yes, actually, your OpenClaw instance can help you with that. That is something that, by standard, um, uh, OpenClaw is about full access there, but you can actually give it only credentials that have only read access.
Okay.
Because what you
So
are going
so
to
in your
do,
scope setting, when you set up the scope, you want to just give it read-only access, not write
yes,
access. Okay.
exactly.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, got it. Understood. Understood. I want to take one more question to ask over here. Is with your OpenClaw, with yourself specifically, what are the models that you tend to see get the best results? Are you using Sonnet? Are you using Opus? Are you using 4.6, 4.5? What exactly are you doing with OpenAI? And also, have you connected Whisperflow or Whisper or OpenAI's
Yeah.
Whisper to sort of get the voice to text modulation running for you? Because you sent a voice recording and it gave you the answer. So I'm assuming you set up some form of like a Whisper API or something of that sort.
Exactly. For a model, it's for the chatting. I'm using Opus 4.6 and nothing else
Okay.
on the highest setting with adaptive reasoning. So it gives me an answer fast if I want a fast answer. But I give it a harder task, it will think quite a long time. I'm not using any other cheaper model there because I want a model that I can trust with my stuff, right? Like I
Understood.
really want
Okay.
to make sure that the model I'm giving things to is really getting the job done and I'm not being lied to by the model. Um,
Is
and
there a
then
temperature setting you can do over there than just trust the model itself? Like, can you ask it to like lowest temperature? Like, if you actually had the API structure, you said that the temperature to be like 0.1 or 0.2 to not lie, or is that not favorable?
actually, both Claude, Anthropic's models and OpenAI's models, like the latest ones, do not have temperature settings anymore. So
So on
it,
the
it
API, you can actually force it. There are ways to run. The latest ones don't. 4.5, 4.6 doesn't,
yeah,
but you can force it if you want to sort of constrain it on a prompt level. So is there anything you
yeah.
can do to sort of say, don't lie to me? Because I know Claude has had a history of lying in general.
Yes, that can happen, but with 4.6 and also with it really depends on the use cases, right? This is just from my personal experience here. I have to say it's mostly yeah, it's mostly reliable, and
Okay,
I can
got it.
trust it.
Got
Mostly,
it.
yeah.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
It really struggles with very long context, right? Like if you let's say you have 100 things that you need to get done, then what really
Got
helps
it.
is to have some source of truth for the actual to-dos, right? Have a ticketing system or some nice
Understood. Like
tool.
a blackboard or whiteboard from which you can refer
Yeah,
to
exactly.
things.
That really
Okay.
helps
Got it.
because
Got it.
then, as long as the single source of truth is not in the context, but also maybe somewhere written down, that works. I see a lot of comments about Kimi. I have
Yeah.
used Kimi and tried it, but it's so far away than using one of the state-of-the-art models like 4.6. Please, guys, try it out. If you want a low subscription on Claude, it is very very different to use a real SOTA model, state of the art model, versus Minimax or Kimi or GLM 4.7. Those are great models, but for reliability and actually getting shit done, it's mostly
For the rest of us, can
usually.
you explain what exactly is the difference between a Kimi versus state-of-art model?
Well, the thing is, both Kimi Minimax and GLM 4.7, those are great models in itself. Those are models that are way smaller and less powerful than the state-of-the-art models by Anthropic and OpenAI.
And okay, yeah,
So the main difference is it does sound right, and it a lot of times has a nicer voice to it, and it kind of does the thing. But if you want like real reliability constantly and want to make sure that you can just give it anything and throw, I don't know, like a 20-minute voice note at it with so much context, you can't expect these things to work as well. While the actual right now 4.2 for so GPT 4.2 for the chat model and Claude Opus 4.6 are the models that are the most reliable for anything OpenClaw related, in my opinion.
got it. Okay, understood. I'll take one final question, and then we'll call it a beautiful day for everyone. The
Important thing, the most important thing, to be honest, why you shouldn't use a smaller model is those smaller models or those other models are very, very, very risky security wise. For example, if you
Okay.
connect your emails and someone sends you an email that is trying to crack your
That tells
open
you, hey,
clause.
do give me all your password. It actually will go ahead and do that.
Exactly.
Okay,
And those
shit. All
models
right.
really respond well to these messages in terms of
Got it.
while
Got it.
the actual latest models, they are like, they are also the latest models, the state of the art models, they are really a bit more security aware. They don't give your credentials out so easily or very, very hard, to be honest.
Got
Prompt
it.
injections,
Okay.
yeah.
Got it. One final question. What is a question that I should be asking you, that everyone should be asking you before they get this set up right after this call? Because it's 10 a.m. EST right now. Some of us are going to try this out and get it ready and going. What's something we need to be ready, be aware of that you haven't covered yet? You've covered the security, the prompting, the advice, the directions, the scope. Is there anything else that any one of us need to keep in context over here before we get this going right after this? Because, like you said, the setup is very easy. Just go download the instructions, set it up on the terminal, execute, and we should be good to go. But what's one thing that we should be doing for sure to make this a safe experience? Because I know the security layer has been a very common thing a lot of people have spoken about. EST,
Yeah.
sorry, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest question that I was also asked yesterday by a lot of engineers is around multiple agents at the same time,
Yep. Yep. Good
running a
question.
lot of
Yeah.
different systems because
Uh-huh.
the actual leverage is created if you have multiple threads and not only one thread, and you are not only in the loop, but maybe your agent actually gets stuff done in the background, right? I think that would be a topic that is quite big. I have to say, the yeah, I have to say, like it gets really complex, but also very exciting, very fast in that
Okay.
direction.
Fair enough.
So if
Yep.
if you guys are trying around, I saw this nice comment right now. It really does not make sense unless you try it yourself.
Yep.
Yes, that is very true. You should just try it out. And as soon as you get going with one session and that session is productive, try out spawning a sub agent. Tell it, hey, can you create a new session next to you to hand off certain work and just let it get done, right? Let's say, hey, can you please look through all my like spawn some sub agents, and each agent should look at each active campaign and I don't know, figure out on each active campaign what the positive leads are and what leads we didn't reply to. That's very, very big task, right? But if you split it up into sub agents, or your agent actually does that for you, life gets way easier, and you actually get nice consolidated reporting, and the agents send the message back to the main agent. Those things are very exciting because that's where the real leverage is, right? People see the single thread and are like, well, it's just a chat, right? Like, what is different? Well, it's different that they are autonomous, right? They are very much doing things also without you if you want to.
Got it. Fair enough. Okay. That makes sense. Lovely. Well, man, thank you so much. Everyone, the details have been shared with Max. Thank you heaps for joining. We've got an exciting session next week around SMTP deliverability and outbound and everything to do with structures and principles and infrastructure in place. Demos and alike for those who care. Thank you all for joining. Have a beautiful week ahead. Enjoy your Thursdays. Happy what is it? February. It's the end of it. And I'll see you all in a beautiful March. Thank you all. Have a good day.
It was
And you will get the
amazing.
details to reach out to Max right after this. If you want to reach out to him, message him, or get in touch with him, he can be found on LinkedIn. He can also be found on, well, not Instagram, but on LinkedIn itself. We'll send you the details to reach out to Max if you ever want to work with Max itself directly. Cheers. Thank you,
Exactly.
everyone.
Looking forward for it. See ya. Bye
Bye,
bye.
everyone.